Hello everybody and welcome to my new video. Today's video will be all about brackets. So whenever you do math, for example, you are solving an equation or you are simplifying a term or you are solving an integral, there's a high probability that there will be brackets inside. So in today's video, after you have watched the video, you will be able to deal with any kind of bracket that can occur. So I have classified the different bracket types into three groups, which we will go through in this video. The first group is the multiplication bracket, then we will look at the positive brackets, and after that at the negative brackets. So I suggest we jump right into it. So first of all, I want to talk about the so-called multiplication bracket. What do I mean by multiplication bracket? So imagine you have something like that. You have something like A multiplied by opening bracket B plus C. So you have something like a variable which is multiplied and then you have an opening bracket. So the multiplication sign is directly in front of the bracket. This is what I called a multiplication bracket. And now the question is, how can we deal with this bracket? What do we do? So we have to multiply A by B and A by C. So this first expression can be rewritten as A times B plus A times C. And so you have seen from the left to the right, we eliminated the bracket. And this is also the distributive property. You have probably heard about that. So we just can use here for multiplication brackets, we can use the distributive property to eliminate the brackets. Maybe you have seen a kind of different type of multiplication bracket. So often you will deal with something like that, a plus b, both in a bracket, times c plus d. So it's still a multiplication bracket as we have here, a multiplication sign, and then we have a bracket directly after it, but we also have a bracket in front of it. And now the question is, how can we deal with those kind of brackets? So we can kind of adjust a quite similar rule. What we have to do here is we go to the first variable in the first bracket and multiply it by every variable in the second bracket. So we would have to multiply A by C and A by D. And then we continue with the B. And here we do the same thing. We have to multiply B by C and B by D. So like this. So this expression is the same like A times C plus A times D plus B times C plus B times D. Good. And this rule, it's not limited to two variables for every bracket. It can be extended to any number of variables. The rule is you always have to multiply everybody from the first bracket with everybody in the second bracket. If you have 3 here and 3 here, then you would have 9 combinations, 9 such terms, and so on. So this rule can be generalized. You just have to remember everybody from the first with everybody from the second. Good. So what I want to do now, I want to put concrete values for the variables. So let's say, for example, A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, and D equals 4. I kind of want to do those rules we just learned by concrete values. So for this line, what would we have? We would have 1 times opening bracket 2 plus 3. And now, of course, here we do not need to use the rule we have just learned here. We could just make this addition So it would be 1 times, and then we can add 2 plus 3, which would be 5. So the result is 5. If we kind of just do directly what we have here, but we can also use the rule from the right side. So we can also multiply like this, which would be then 1 times 2 plus 1 times 3. And this is 2 plus 3, which is 5. So you see, we do get the same result, which kind of shows that this rule makes sense. And so we can do the same here for the second line. We would have 1 plus 2 multiplied by 3 plus 4. And of course, we can here do the additions first, which would be 3 times 7. And 3 times 7, you all know that, that's 21. Okay, but we could also use what we just learned here. We multiply everybody with everybody, so like this. And that would be 1 times 3 plus 1 times 4 plus 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. Okay, and that would be the same like 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8. And if we sum that up, we do get 7 plus 6 is 13 plus 8. We do also get our 21. Okay, so and this is just the same we got here. So we see this rule makes sense. And whenever you kind of might have forgotten the rule, you could just create such an example and look whether you get the same results in both ways, which kind of is an indication that the rule you're thinking about is right. Okay, so that's it for the first bracket type, for the multiplication bracket, where we had a multiplication sign directly in front of the bracket. So let's continue with our second type of bracket, which is the so-called positive bracket. So what do I mean by that? Let's assume we have something like this. We have something like A plus, and then we have our bracket B plus C minus D. So in contrast to the multiplication bracket, where we had here this multiplication sign directly in front of the bracket, we now have a plus sign directly in front of the bracket. And this can be viewed as a case from the multiplication bracket. So what do I mean by that? You can add here, I let here a little distance, you can add here a 1 times. So why can we do that? You probably know everything we can just multiply it by 1 because it doesn't change its value. So 1 times an apple is the same as apple. So 1 times this bracket is just the same as the bracket. It doesn't change anything. And if we add this 1 here, what do we get? We have our multiplication sign back from what we know. So we can just use what we already know, use the rule from here, from above. So we have to use this 1 and multiply it with everybody inside. So then what would we get? We would get A plus, and then we do the rule. So 1 times B, which is B, plus 1 times C, which is C, and then minus 1 times D, which is D. A different way, and this is how I just remember it whenever I have a positive bracket. So one moment, I just copy everything from above. This is what I remember. I just remember whenever I have a positive sign in front of the bracket, I just throw the sign away and I also throw the bracket away and I just copy everything else, including the signs. So I would have then A. Then we have a plus in front of the B. This is a positive B. So plus B plus C minus D. And this is the exact same as when we do this one. So you can, whatever you want, you can remember it. I personally just remember throw away the sign and the brackets and just copy everything else, and then you have the result. So let's have a look at this if we put in concrete numbers. So we would have 1 plus opening bracket 2 plus 3 minus 4. And then of course we first of all we can just do the addition directly, so that then would be 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 5 minus 4 is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. Or we could use the rule we just learned. We could throw away the plus sign and the bracket and copy everything else, so that then would be 1. Here in front of the 2 there's a plus, so plus 2 plus 3 minus 4, and that would be 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, minus 4 is 2. So we do get the same results in both ways. Okay, so this is it for the positive bracket. I would like to continue now with the negative brackets, and you could probably already guess what I mean by that. So what do I mean by that? Let's imagine we have something like this. We have A minus opening bracket B plus C minus D. So here we now have a minus sign directly in front of the bracket. What can we do here? We can do the same as we did with the positive bracket. We could use this little trick. So we put a 1 times in front of it, and then adjust the same rule. But here, now our A, here we use this whole minus 1. So this is our A, and we multiply it to everything inside. So what we would get now is this is equal to A minus 1 times B is minus B, minus 1 times C is minus C, and minus 1 times minus D is plus D. Okay, and so we can get the result of this negative bracket by using the rules we have learned from the multiplication bracket. And but the rule I remember, so I just copy everything once again, minus D. So the rule I remember is throw away the sign, throw away the bracket, as we did here at the positive bracket, throwing away the sign and the bracket, but then we have to flip all the signs inside. So we have to flip positive signs to negative signs and negative signs to positive signs. So what does that mean? We here have, in front of the B, we have a plus. So this has to change into a minus. In front of the C, we have also a plus, which has to change into a minus. And in front of the D, we have a minus, which has to change to a plus. And then if we use that rule, we get A minus B minus C plus D, which is, of course, the same as here above. Okay, and now I also want to use concrete numbers, so we would now have a minus 2 plus 3 minus 4. And as we did earlier, we could just do the addition and subtraction first, so it would be 5 minus 4, which would be 1, so it's equal to 1 minus 1, which is 0. Or we could use our rule, so we could throw away the sign and the brackets and change the signs. So here I write it down. We have a plus, so this has to become a minus. This has to become a minus as well, and this has to become a plus. So we then would have 1 minus 2 minus 3 plus 4. So 1 minus 2 is minus 1, minus 3 is minus 4, plus 4 is then 0. So we do get the same result. So this is it for the brackets. With those through rules, with the multiplication bracket, with the positive bracket, and with the negative bracket, you will be able to eliminate, to deal with any kind of bracket that will occur in your math life. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please, if you want to, give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel. Please also have a look in the description box because there I have put this whole file, what I've just shown you, that you can read it and have a look at it afterwards and revise it. So this is it from the video. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.